Ready to go? Yep. Hey everybody, this is George's cousin Ed over at the Bergen Gun Range in Bergen, Kentucky.
You know who you are by now. Just go ahead and say this is Ed.
I have to have a tagline. Anyway, what we're going to talk about today is something that, as a young man in learning to shoot, I had to come to a certain realization. And here's the realization. I like the Browning High Power and all its clones, made in different countries, like this one, made in Hungary. I really like the High Power, and it doesn't like me. So it's kind of been one of those unrequited things. I had a High Power when I was younger, and every time I go out to shoot, it looked like I was in a fight with someone. Now, reason for that is, the reason we're talking about this today is, I think a lot of other people have this issue too. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Here we have an unloaded High Power. I'm going to put the safety on anyway. And here is my issue. You can see my hand here. You can see the position it's in. You can also see the position of this hammer. And every time I would fire a High Power without gloves, the slide would come back and push that hammer right into my hand, giving me a nice little indentation there, and again, blood just flowing off the side of my hand at the end of a shooting session. Now, with a 1911, like so, I had kind of the same issue. Not quite as bad, but I would still get cut occasionally with it. And I have the same issue with the Walther PPK. And I'm sure a lot of other people have this too. So, a little bit about it first too. The High Power, which is colloquially called the Browning High Power, or the P35 or the GP35, depending on what country you're in.
South African R1.
Yes. Even used by the Wehrmacht in World War II in some instances. Used by over 90 countries as a standard military and police, many times, handgun. It's popular for a reason. I always tell people, I said, this, the 1911 is the gun that started the trend toward a semi-auto pistol for military police use. This was really the big game changer. This is when they knew there was no turning back. 13-shot magazine, of course, single action, good trigger, very ergonomic. Usually when I talk to someone about the High Power and they shoot it, they get it in their hands for the first time, they say, oh, that really feels good. I said, well, yeah, that's the idea. It seems to fit everybody. Big, small, man, woman, doesn't matter. So that's why the High Power has always been a very popular handgun, because it works. That's why I've always felt bad that I just can't shoot a standard High Power. It just tears me all to pieces. But there's an answer, which is what we're going to bring you today. Hold on a second.
Oh, really? I get to come and talk to the
Yes. Entertain.
So, the people that built this gun, TSOS, and I don't know in Turkey if there's one gun company or 40, okay? But they're producing very nice 1911s and very nice faithful recreations of the Browning High Power. And what happened was the FN Browning dropped the standard P35 from their inventory and no longer manufactures standard P35s. So, companies jumped in to fill the void. TSOS came out with a P35 High Power that they call on their Regent line of really nice High Powers, 1911s, 1911 Commanders, and so forth. Now, I don't know the affiliation to the Girson brand. We had one of their brother clones on here a couple of weeks ago, or I don't know if I posted that video or not, just to tell you the truth, but we have that video. Girson has come out with this, a cross between an everyday carry high power and race gun high power. So this is a Browning high power in every way, but it's much nicer appointed than a standard military high power would be. It has Novak style sight on the rear, which is actually part of this sight deck arrangement where you can pull the sight and the deck completely off to install your optic if you want to. Now, I don't know what optics are compatible with it. I don't know much about optics. As far as I'm concerned, the optic sticking up on the back of a handgun makes a good charging handle or something to run into a wall and punch charge it. That's all it does for me. But it does have a very nice Novak style rear sight, which is unmarked. And it has a very nice fiber optic front sight, which puts you in a position to aim the gun out there and pick up the front sight between the two rear sight ears very nicely. A good close range combat sight. Good arrangement. It's about,
what's the high power, 5?
it's about an inch and a half maybe shorter than a standard high power.
3.9 inches.
The dust cover forward of the trigger guard has 3 cuts of Picatinny on it. It has ambidextrous safety, and a lot of high powers you've seen over the years have a very strong detent and it's hard to get it on and off. This is not. It has an extended mechanism for slide release. It has trigger guard undercut, which is very nice. And it has a finger rest as part of the front strap, which is, that's really nice. It has, micarta textured grips that are textured in such a way that the person running the machine that textured them is obviously on drugs. The big thing is the extended beaver tail. Big-handed guys like me and Ed, we don't have to worry about it. It's got that extended beaver tail that's all the way out. The loop hammer cups in, and it's just nice. The trigger type is of the straight target style. Now I'm going to try this gun right here in just a minute. We're going to shoot 20 rounds out of it from an elbow rest and see how I actually shoot it as opposed to, well, I'm going to see how it works and shoots. See how it cycles, functions, and how well I can shoot it. I have 2 60% police silhouettes up down there at 7 and 15 yards, and we're going to give it a try as soon as I can get some ear mufflers on my head. Run grab them ones out of there, the ones I always use, and the ones I stole from
Like the thin ones.
Left Field Productions back in the old Guntucky days.
You might want to, one big change you might want to mention is that this gun has no magazine safety.
Yeah, I left that out. This gun doesn't have MagSafe.
Because everybody usually ends up taking the magazine safety out.
A traditional high power, when you drop the magazine, you can't pull the trigger and get the hammer to drop. This one doesn't have a MagSafe. And I don't know how I'm going to like this trigger set up compared to what I'm used to, but we're going to give it a try right here, and let's just find out how it works. Oh, magazine interchangeability. This is a standard Browning high power mag that I have for use with my high power variant. A lot of the variants of high power over the years have had proprietary magazines. This one takes I've got 6 high power magazines, and he's got one and his magazine interchanges with my high power, and all my high power magazines seem to work with this gun, and we're going to find out.
Yeah,
all right, let's get down here 15 yards and see what the damage is. I'm going to put 10 in the 15-yard target, center mass, and 10 in the 7-yard target, center mass, and see what our marksmanship, or lack of it, looks like. Or lack of it. It's not got the same trigger parameters I'm used to. Let's see. Short reset. I actually like triggering this gun better than I like it in my FEG or the Brown or Dad's Browning. Well, I don't know how many I've shot now. Well, I think I pulled that out somewhere. And we got the old hand cramp. The elderly hand cramp has struck us again. All right, let's drop that mag and see what we got. Oh, yeah, I think it's a 13-round magazine. There's one in it. Okay, let's find another old beater magazine that I normally use in my gun and move up here to 15 or to 7 and put 10 in it and see how we do. Come on, damn you, get straightened out there. Oh, apparently I'm nosediving when I pull. Ooh. Boy, when they both go to cramping at the same time. Bear with me a moment. Oh. All right, quit nose diving, start putting them in. All right, lay that gun down there. Let's see what kind of, how much embarrassment I owe. Oh. Hard to keep her on there when your hands are cramping. I've had a hard time my hand body. Huh? I was nose diving very badly there.
You know, the group isn't bad.
But the group overall is not bad. That's a half side, 60% silhouette. You know.
This one you did pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm there.
It's a pretty good shooter. A younger man that didn't have to worry about hand cramps and mineral deficiencies and age and circulatory issues, all that stuff, probably shoot that gun a whole lot better. Girson. This is actually, the model of this gun is the model, what's it say there? MC 35, P35.
Yeah.
Or
PI standing for Private Investigator.
LW stands for Long Wings.
Something like that.
And OR3 or OP3, OPS. They just went a little crazy with the engraver that day, I guess.
Got almost a 20-digit serial number. What do you expect?
Yeah, they got about a 20. Girson, high power. Well, what are my thoughts? Now I got a leg cramp. This is not
Just
my
don't
day.
move.
I'm going to go home, take me some curare and go to bed. Maybe take too much. What do I think? What are my opinion? I like it. I like it. It's a little bit too well appointed and a little bit too fancy for me. But I don't know.
They make a version without the fancy grips and a couple things, but they keep the beaver tail.
If I was working executive protection or something like that, where I need good close range firepower inside of a car, you know, shooting out of a window or something like that, this would be a better gun to have than my high power. It's a lot more appointed for being in a gunfight. It feels nice in the hand. That undercut is very nice. The finger rest, which is part of the frame, is really cool. The beaver tail is really nice. You don't get no bite. Ambidextrous safety that's easy to manipulate. Overall, it's a real good gun. Finger scale. I'm saying in the 4.5 finger scale. It is, after all, a Turkish clone, but it's a high-end Turkish clone. It's a pretty nice one. On the finger scale, I'm saying about 4 to 4.5 or so. Well, anyway, that's about the size of that one for the old Girson Detective High Power. Like it, share, commentate, and subscribe. Leave me old Patreon bucket. Leave me old dollar in the Patreon bucket if you want to, and if you don't, well, I'll just keep right on making content for you. Be of good cheer. We've had poor leadership before. And if you see them old just stop all people in the middle of the road, turn around. Just go somewhere else. You know, don't run them over. Just be nice, okay? They'll get tired and go home eventually. They can't be everywhere at once.
You got to feel bad for people who super glue themselves to the pavement and etc. You mean
George Soros must put up a lot of money for them. That's all I can say, because no right, sane person that doesn't have $5 grand cash in their pocket is going to do something like that. God bless America, and God bless us each and every one. We'll see you when we see you. Bye now. Something I'm asked all the time, are AR-500 targets worth what you spend on them? Well, let's see. That little Mickey Mouse shaped target right there is about 5 years old, and it's been shot with a lot of 223. Not supposed to shoot 223 over here, but they do. This big Mickey Mouse target this is 2023. It was bought about 2016. There's a couple of bullet holes all the way through it. I think I know how they got there. It's 3/8 thickness. I think somebody shot it with an M1 rifle AP round in it. These 3 targets on this rack, I've replaced the chains a lot, but they are 17 years old. This AR-500 half silhouette is at least 16 years old, and it's been shot a lot, and it's starting to crack. It bowed out the other way, and now I've turned it around and it's bowed out this way. So we'll see if it's got another 16 years in it, but I'm like, it's probably worth it. It's probably worth it. That target costs about $100, and over the years, it's worth it. So, you know, is it worth spending the money on them? Yeah, because this target setup that I just put in, you know, is like the 3rd target setup I put up. But the target still survives. The thing holding it up, you know, it'll last a couple of years. The tank plate, I don't actually know what grade of steel it is, but it's held up pretty good. Okay, is AR 500 worth it? Yeah, it's worth it.